hell and love. Get up and oh, party.
What's up, you guys? Welcome to Opinions, Stats, and Facts with your host, Eddie Johnson. Oh, by the way, happy Valentine's Day to you all. Got a little bit dressed up for it. But we're going to get into what really matters at this moment, and that is the sport talk. So we're going to jump right into it. First segment, man, we're going to talk about is this new look Cleveland Cavaliers team. They actually made, some trades when the trade deadline hit. So they acquired George Hill, Rodney Hood, Larry Nance Jr., and Jordan Clarkson. And they pretty much revamped their whole team. Like, the whole entire team is gone. Isaiah Thomas got traded to the Lakers. Jay Crowder is gone. He got traded to the Utah Jazz. Amon Shumpert is gone. He got traded, I believe, to the Sacramento Kings. Their whole entire team just been revamped. Shannon Frye went along with Isaiah Thomas. Dwayne Wade, he actually managed to go back home. That was kind of like a good thing that Cleveland did by letting him go back home to Miami. So he's back with the Miami Heat. They pretty much revamped their whole entire bench. Derrick Rose is gone too. He got bought out, and I believe he's getting sought after by the Minnesota Timberwolves because Coach Thibodeau is there, and all his old Bulls teammates is kind of there with Taj Gibson and Jimmy Butler. And I think another team is also looking at him too, like a contender. So he's getting bought out. But let's see if Derrick Rose will actually go somewhere. But the Cavs, man, they since the revamped roster, I would say since the roster moves, they have went 2-0, beating my beloved Celtics in their first game with them guys playing, and they just recently beat OKC last night. As a matter of fact, they beat them, and that was a game where both Melo and Russell Westbrook both played in that game because they was out a couple games. Melo with ankle injury, and I think Russell was like with ankle soreness or something. So they managed to win that game. Jordan Clarkson, the move. Jordan Clarkson, I like the move of Jordan Clarkson and Rodney Hood being on the team. George Hill is a good piece with them because that brings that defense. That brings a guy that can spot up and shoot, which LeBron loves those type of players that can like spot up and be specialists and everything like that. So that's real good for George Hill. Larry Nance Jr., I feel like he'll be a good player off the bench because granted, he was coming off the bench, I think, a little bit in Los Angeles with the Lakers, but Larry gives them rim protection, I want to say. A big 6'10", 6'11" dude, maybe 7-footer, if I'm correct. He runs the floor, he's a young guy, and that's the main part what happened with Cleveland. They got younger. They got some young guys, man. Rodney Hood is maybe 23. Jordan Clarkson is around 22, 23. George Hill is like the only player that's like over 30 that they acquired. So it looked like they're having fun and everything. Like I said, they beat my Celtics on the night that they had actually, was retiring my favorite player from the Celtics, Paul Pierce. They beat them when they was retiring his jersey, putting his jersey up into the Raptors, and we got blown out, man. So, I wasn't too keen of the game in particular with that, but that's just me being a biased Celtics fan, man. Celtics love it to the death. But when I did watch the game, I did see how that team seemed to kind of gel instantly. And Jordan Clarkson, like I said, been big for him. I actually am a Jordan Clarkson fan, even though he was on the Lakers. I actually was pitching for it back when he was there, and they had D'Angelo Russell, that they should have started him and Russell together, whether Clarkson been at the 2-guard position or Russell been at the 2-guard position. But, both of them was interchangeable and they could play together. But they didn't, I guess it was sought after by LA later on, especially with them getting Lonzo Ball, that, that's not the way that they headed, especially with Jordan Clarkson. But he's a good, young, athletic point guard or 2-guard, So I really dig that whole dynamic with the Cleveland Cavaliers getting him. And Rodney Hood has always been good. Going back, it seems like these good players that Cleveland got are from teams that I am not personally a fan of. Rodney Hood did come from Duke University. I am not a Duke fan. I am a North Carolina Tar Heels fan. So, that goes into consideration. Like, it's some Duke players that actually is good. And I know a lot of people going to be like, well, how you a Carolina Tar Heels fan, but you're a Celtics fan, and Kyrie is from Duke. Kyrie is one of those players that's from Duke that, I respect. And he always going to be one of those guys that, I always look up to. He was a great Duke player, but being from Duke, Grant Hill and a couple of those guys, those are like the top tier Duke players. Other than that, Cleveland, like I said, is 2-0 with their team. It's gonna be interesting to see how they go into the whole playoff situation now that they got a younger team. Because when they got this young team now, of course LeBron seems to be loving it. He can play the playmaker role. He can, get into the paint, and he actually got shooters and guys that's, gonna put up points. And it seems like it's a team that nobody has an ego. Like, none of them. Those guys are young, so they kind of already know what their role is gonna be. Playing with LeBron, they're gonna let him be, quote unquote the king. So they're gonna let him run that. Now, do I think that the moves that was made is a sign that's gonna keep LeBron in Cleveland? I don't think that's gonna be, the case. I still believe that LeBron's gonna leave Cleveland for a second time. This time it's not gonna be as bad as when he left to go to Miami, and that whole mess behind that. But I do believe that he is not gonna, stay in Cleveland. And I think them getting the moves and getting, Rodney Hood and those younger guys, those younger pieces, Dan Gilbert was sending that message of, we're gonna build towards the future. These guys can play with you now, but we're gonna build towards the future just in case, you just leave us high and dry like how you did, in 2010 when you went to the Heat. I'm of the impression of, look, they only played 2 games. They played them against teams that we consider contenders and everything. OKC is considered a contender with Russell Westbrook, Paul George, and Carmelo Anthony being there, and they beat them. And of course, my Celtics being second in the East at the moment now, because the Toronto Raptors is ahead of us in the standings at the number 1 spot, and we're a contender and everything. It'll bring me back a little bit later to speak on my Celtics a little bit on the things that's happening with them, but they beat some formidable teams. Now granted, I feel eventually they're gonna hit a wall, and it's gonna be how they fans always go. Whenever they start losing, whenever the Cleveland Cavaliers start losing, you can book it that it's gonna be a lot of people like, oh, well, that team is new, they didn't get a chance to gel, they didn't do all this and everything. Okay, we're gonna figure that out. But until then, they seem to be playing good. I like the moves. I'm glad Isaiah Thomas is out of there. And before the Isaiah hate goes, as far as like him not being able to fit with LeBron, of course he wasn't able to fit with LeBron, but my whole opinion on that, being that it's opinion, stats and facts, this is a guy that averaged 29 points per game last year with the Boston Celtics. He was the centerpiece for the team, and he's a ball-dominant point guard, even being at 5'9". He is a ball-dominant point guard. So, you go to the Cleveland Cavaliers, and there's LeBron James. And everybody, fans and all, would say that LeBron makes his teammates better. So a guy that's averaging 29 points per game and you got LeBron on your team, everybody was expecting, oh, LeBron's going to make Isaiah Thomas greater still, and the team is going to be great. They told this man pretty much, play your game. His game is being the ball-dominant, scoring first point guard. Sought after to, get his points. So when you want someone to be comfortable, you always tell them to be yourself, play the way they got you to the point that you are in your career. And I think that's what Isaiah Thomas was doing. It just didn't work well with the Cleveland Cavaliers, or should I say the LeBron James system that's set up in Cleveland. Him going to the Lakers, though, being a rival, of the Celtics and everything. I mean, I wish him the best. The whole coming off the bench thing with him, I understand it. Like I said, it goes back. This guy got 20. He averaged 29 points per game. He was third or in the top 5 of MVP voting that year with the Celtics. So he was an all-star. So he deserved a lot more credit and a lot more respect, in my opinion, than what fans and other sport commentators and people are saying about him, calling him a black hole and a cancer. It's like everybody knows that he's 5'9", and defensively he's shortcoming on that. Like, that is a definite giveaway on defense. But so he brings so much more to the table than just not being good on defense. It's always the short guys, I guess. They're underdogs. We had guys like Allen Iverson, Muggsy Bogues, and Isaiah Thomas and Nate Robinson. Nate Robinson is the perfect example of a guy that's a great ball player, a great basketball player, and we see him bounce around the team, and that was a guy that's very athletic. He was dunking at like 5'8", 5'9", maybe 5'10", and he won dunk contests and stuff. But defense, I guess, at the end of the day, defense does win championships, but Nate and guys like Nate Robinson, Isaiah Thomas, those guys could get you to a championship. Maybe not being the ideal centerpiece of teams like that, but they could still at least get you there. That's my opinion on it. Being that I'm sticking in the East with Cleveland and everything, and I did say that Toronto got the number 1 seed. It's actually people that thinks Toronto will be able to beat and possibly come out the East, give or take, if they run into Cleveland. But it's people that says that Toronto that can beat the Celtics in the playoffs in a 7-game series. Not gonna happen. Not gonna happen. The Toronto Raptors, although they're a great team and I love DeMar DeRozan in his game, it's Kyle Lowry. It always has been him, and I feel like it always will be him. He's a great point guard, great passer and everything. He is great when it's regular season. When it's regular season. Playoffs, I have yet to see Kyle Lowry take what he's been doing in the regular season into the playoffs. He put out an APB for him because he goes missing, and I think that's the intensity of the playoffs. They zero in on their opponent. I mean, you gotta play them, if it goes to 7 games, but you gotta play them 4 times, and each time that's a little bit more that of film and mannerisms of another player. So I think they zero in on those star players, and unless you guys like LeBron James, Michael Jordan back then, guys that that was just unstoppable no matter what, they zero in, and it's like you can shut them down at least for a game or 2. For Kyle Lowry, they shut him down for 3, and then for the 4th game he just don't show up, or he's missing shots. It's nothing like regular season. So Toronto Raptors, to me, when the playoffs hit, they're gonna go out in the 2nd round, maybe in 6 games, and that would be either to the Celtics or Cleveland Cavaliers. It wouldn't surprise me if they get put out by like somebody like Washington, if they get Washington in the 1st round, or like Detroit, because I don't see Toronto. They're too inconsistent. That brings me to another team that's like been inconsistent and I've been hearing too much about, like the Bucks, like Milwaukee Bucks. Now they have been winning, I recall, since the infamous firing of Jason Kidd, which I thought that was a big mistake. But they have been winning lately, but at the same time they're a middle of a packed team, and I'm expecting a whole lot more from Milwaukee, being that they got Giannis, and now that Jabari Parker is back, that's gonna be, I expect big things out of them. The Rockets, everybody pretty much know the Rockets and the Warriors are proud to meet each other when the playoffs hit. Steve Kerr got a lot of criticism for letting the players, seeing that the All-Star break is coming up. He got a lot of criticism for letting the players, coach themselves this past game. Guys like Andre Iguodala was sitting there, coaching the team, drawing up plays. I believe he had a few other guys. No, it wasn't Nick Young or JaVale McGee. Like those guys, no, not coaching wise at least. Y'all draw out the play and they just gotta play it. But he caught a lot of criticism for that, and a lot of people want to say that with him letting the players coach themselves for that game, that shows a lot and it speaks a lot on him as a coach. Like pretty much the players coach themselves anyway. It's just, Steve Kerr is the face as being the head coach. And I disagree with that to an extent. Now, personal opinion, I believe Steve Kerr walked into a great situation by becoming the head coach of the Golden State Warriors. I mean, he got a team that was pretty much primed to win a championship around the time he got there. My whole thing goes to Mark Jackson. Mark Jackson was the guy that really built that team. At that time, a lot of people don't know because they just became Warriors fans or just got on the Warriors radar. But when they had guys like Monte Ellis there starting over Klay Thompson, before they got Andre Iguodala there, that team was built to go to the championship, go to the finals and everything under Mark Jackson. I guess that's like what Milwaukee did. When they fired Jason Kidd, they're looking for a Steve Kerr type of guy, where it's like they got this team that's primed, but they reached their plateau, they reached their ceiling, and it's a coach or somebody else that can take them over that hump to another atmosphere, stratosphere, and get them to winning championships. But the Warriors, man, the Warriors are beating anybody in the playoffs. I already got that pegged that the Warriors is going to win the championship, and they're no team outside of the Houston Rockets, I feel, will really give them a threat. San Antonio with the Kawhi Leonard situation with him being out indefinitely, seems like he's regressing with his rehab. You never count San Antonio out, but at the same time, it's like you're kind of about to start counting them out because they're just, I don't think they'll be able to withstand that, especially if Kawhi doesn't come back to play. And then you got to keep in mind when you do come back and play, you got to get back in game shape. And if you get back in game shape, it'll be playoff time. So it'll be really intense for him to come out and do that. The Rockets have been utterly amazing. They actually been fun to watch. And it's going to be a great series when the Rockets and the Warriors meet up. Because I'm booking it. I'm booking it right now. They're meeting up, Western Conference Finals, and one of them two are going to the West. I mean, going to represent the West. And I got the Warriors winning in 6, maybe 7 games. But Chris Paul being one of the greatest players that I personally like, and James Harden, they seem to fit so well. And that team is built so well as far as perimeter players, and all the guys can space the floor, besides Clint Capella, of course. But they pretty much got that 4 shooters and a center. And it's like they don't take, I think the only guy that takes a mid-range jump shot consistently on that team is Chris Paul. Everybody else, if it's not on the 3-point range, if it's not a 3-pointer, or if it's not in the paint, layup with a foul or a dunk or anything like that, they're not taking it. Mid-range is totally dead to them, and they go by analytics. That team really go by their analytics and they got a team that fits well with that. That's as much as I can say as far as the Rockets go. That's going to be interesting to see how they play out. Injuries, man. My next thing I want to talk about is a lot of players, NBA wise, has been getting injured a lot. And recently, of course, DeMarcus Cousins went down a few weeks ago, torn Achilles, and he's out for the season, and that's terrible. As much as he was having a good solid year with New Orleans Pelicans, and then you got Kristaps Porzingis. He just recently went down and tore his ACL, and that's crazy, man. I mean, it brings the attention about too many games or too many back-to-back games. It's 82 games in the NBA season. Personally, I feel like that should be dropped. Like 82 should, be scaled back to 70, no more than maybe 75 games. because you're including the playoffs afterwards, and that's an extended season. I think they already incorporated by shortening the preseason like this year, but guys are getting injured at an alarming rate, and for some strange reason that I'm thinking of it now, they're all centers, like big guys, like DeMarcus Cousins and Kristaps, or they're power forwards, and stuff like that. I have yet to see a guard or somebody of that magnitude that's a higher stature, hero player go down with a real major injury just yet. I know John Wall is dealing with, he had to have surgery on his knee and stuff, but it's like John Wall is still going to be able to play. I'm talking like season-ending injuries. Most of it went to big guys, and that's just crazy, man. Crazy for it to be happening. I mean, there's nothing too much to say about what the NBA's landscape is. The All-Star game's coming up. A lot of these guys, like I said, from injury standpoint. Oh, and Kevin Love too. Like he broke his bone in his hand, and he's a power forward. But for the All-Star game coming up, so I'm really looking forward to. Well, I was looking forward to it before the players got injured, but it's gonna be interesting nonetheless. I don't think the dunk contest or anything is gonna be spectacular, but I could be wrong. When I think about the All-Star game now and the All-Star festivities, I seriously watch for the three-point contest now. Like, the three-point contest is the only contest that matters to me now. The dunk contest is not what it used to be, and the game itself, everybody knows that the players do not play defense until the fourth quarter. And that's even probably halfway through the fourth quarter, like when they get the 6-minute mark. Other than that, it's an exhibition game, and people want to see their favorite players play, and that's just entertainment. So they're not gonna go all out on an exhibition game. So that's pretty much it for the NBA landscape. College basketball, that's up and roaring. March will be here soon, so March Madness is going to be there. And Carolina, I don't know if we're going to be able to repeat as champions, go Carolina Tar Heels. I don't know. Kentucky actually fell off to me this year. Like, you don't hear nothing about Kentucky and the one-and-dones and the superstar players and stuff like that. They've been very, very quiet this year because they have been losing. And they've been losing a lot. But you know how Kentucky is. One good recruiting class, and I think they'll be back to the top tier of that. But right now, Duke got that recruiting class for 2019. Those freshmen that's coming in, most of those guys are going to Duke, and I feel everybody's expecting Duke to win the next championship for it. But as far as this goes, for this year, we have to see when the brackets get made, the round of 64 goes, all the way down to the Sweet 16, Elite 8, Final 4, and who will be the champion. I pray that it's my Carolina Tar Heels, but we've been inconsistent as well too, losing to some teams that we didn't have no business losing to. But the team is still faring well. We're gonna make the tournament and everything, so that's where that's gonna be. My last topic I want to discuss here on Opinion Stats and Facts, Lonzo Ball and the Ball brothers and everything. Of course, everybody knows that LaMelo and LiAngelo is in Lithuania playing pro basketball there and everything. And their brother Lonzo plays for the Lakers. I think he's injured right now, but he should be coming back playing with them. And of course, their dad always getting headlines, always bringing attention to himself, to the point where the Lakers can't even, they put it mandatory that you can't ask them nothing about LeVar Ball, which LeVar's in Lithuania coaching the Suns. And they're doing decent, man. I mean, LaMelo dropping 40, LiAngelo dropping like 30-something, and they're getting buckets out there. A headline that struck with me, man, was like they said Lonzo would actually leave the Lakers if the Lakers, leave the league if the Lakers don't draft his two brothers. And it's like, a lot of things come to mind where, in my mind, Lonzo, you're in the league right now. You're getting money, and you're a very hyped player. Everybody knows who you are, mainly because of your dad. But you do have talent. I do see talent. As much as I don't like the Lakers, I do see talent. But like other analysts and stuff would say, like, he got to be his own man. Like, you letting your dad talk for you. You let your dad make these decisions. You're grown now, and you're in the grown man's league. So that means you have to conduct yourself as a grown man and handle your business without having to look over your shoulder for your dad. I understand, parents are big in people's, athletes, relationships. They're big in their lives, and even myself, I would like to have my parents know the moves I'm making, but I wouldn't have my parents decide what moves I'm making, or they control the moves that I will be making. Because I'm a grown man, and it's like, he's a grown man. He should be able to play in this league regardless if his brothers get there or not. Like, he shouldn't be like, oh, I'm up and leave the NBA because my brother's not in the NBA, or they're not on the Lakers with me, and that was the deal. The deal had to be, that wasn't the deal. The deal is not for you to be, all three of y'all supposed to be on the Lakers, and that's one thing I always kind of hated about certain sports, when it was a overhyped player and they try to force their way to a team that they always wanted to go to. But that's enough, for you guys. I hope you guys enjoy the show. This is Opinions, Stats, and Facts with your host, Eddie Johnson. Tune in next time where we're going to be dropping some more opinions, stats, and facts.